Welcome to Scandalwater,
where we cover the stories that have captivated the entertainment world.
I'm Candy, a longtime educator and community theater actress.
And I'm Ashley, a writer and co-founder of a local theater group.
We're two friends who share a love of entertainment.
From true crime docuseries, to blockbuster movies, to classic TV, to Broadway shows, and everything in between.
Each week, I share a compelling story related to pop culture.
And I chime in using my trivia junkie brain.
We stick to the facts until it's time to settle into our armchairs at the end.
Then we're simply two women with a strong cup of tea and even stronger opinions.
We're Scandalwater.
And if this sounds like your cup of tea,
follow the show on your favorite podcast app or the Scandalwater Podcast YouTube channel.
Oh, it's that time of day. Tune in and hear what the ladies say. It's time to bend your ear when the silver screen appears. Stories about the stage and screen and everything in between. So come on and join the fun. The curtain opens in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Ashley.
hello.
You've been waiting for
I
this
have.
for, I would say, ever since we started podcasting.
I would think so. Yes.
Tell them what we're doing today, Ashley.
The Goonies. Yes.
I am not kidding. It has come up time and time again. And then at the beginning of this year, you started saying, oh,
It's the
this is
40th.
the year.
This
It's
is
the
it.
40th. This is it.
Come on, Candy, it's the year.
And of course, you are wearing
I am. I'm
your
wearing
shirt.
It says the Goonies never say die. They
There
never
you
say
go.
die.
There you
That's it.
go.
And when I was looking through my closet to what to wear today, I was like, what do you mean what to wear? Of course I know what to wear.
Are you crazy?
You
What am I
crazy
thinking?
lady? You've been waiting to wear this. You've worn this on days when Sean Astin was just mentioned in the podcast.
So true. So true. So here you go. This is the episode you
I
have been
have.
waiting for. We are going to
Oh.
celebrate the Goonies 40th anniversary. This is part of our October series on things that go bump. And this is just a fun one. In
It
fact,
is.
since it's kind of a fun one, I have a goofy little hook to start us off.
Well, you know I love Goofy.
Because it's the 40th anniversary. They have all kinds of interesting little interviews and feature articles and just lots of different things to celebrate this movie. And one of the things that was most unique that I ran across was an article that said, this was actually in People magazine.
Okay.
But they said that you can determine which Goonies character you are according to your zodiac sign.
Oh.
So Ashley, what Goonies character do you think you are?
Oh, I want to be Mikey, but I'm probably Andy
Okay, let's look it up.
because she was the nervous one. Andy was the one that was always scared of everything.
And tell us what your zodiac sign is.
I'm a Pisces. Same as you. We'd be the same character. Yeah.
Well, we are
Oh, no. Who are
sloth.
No, I mean, that's okay. We're the loving.
We are,
We're loving. We
yes.
have a big heart.
Yes. In fact, here's the blurb.
Okay.
At his core, Sloth is a total sweetheart.
Yeah.
However, he has a tough exterior because he is in the gang and the forgotten family member of the Fratellis.
Yeah.
Yes, he is emotional, aligns with a water sign, and wears his sentiments like a Pisces. Sloth exhibits unruly behavior and tenderness simultaneously. The celestial fish have dualistic sides like him. Two aquatic animals represent the star sign. All in all, like Pisces, Sloth needs TLC, which he gets in the end.
No. Okay. I'll accept that.
Okay,
I
you
like
take
it.
that?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, who did you watch the Goonies with? Like, did you watch with your cousin or your brother? Or did you have
no.
somebody who was your Goonies pal?
I think it was my mom that was my Goonies
Okay.
pal because she recorded it off of television and there was a tape it was a VHS tape and she had taped, I think it was Cat Ballou was on the first half of it and the Goonies was on the second half of it.
Okay.
So they were both recorded from the television. We would watch that. We would wear that tape out because Cat Ballou was her favorite film and we watched that tons and tons and that's one of my favorite films and so the Goonies was on that same tape.
I love it. Okay, well, go ahead and tell us. Why do you love this movie so much?
Oh my goodness, that is such a big question. I think I was the same age as the character, so that means a lot because there have been people that I have waxed poetic about this movie too who were older and didn't see it as a person who was the same age and they've kind of been like, that was okay. But they didn't grow up with it. I think it represents the 80s. It represents when I watch it, I remember this is what my childhood was like. They were misfits. They didn't belong. They were looking for their found family. And I just identified with them.
Okay.
So it was more about identification than rather the plot.
Right.
It was about the characters for me.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the background. We've already said several times, this is the 40th anniversary. It actually premiered on June 7th, 1985. Goonies is PG rated.
Which is very surprising, watching it as an adult.
Oh, yeah. That was before they had PG-13.
Right, right. It definitely I would call it more PG-13. Also, we didn't cover it in June because we were doing something else, and we looked it up. It actually is perfect for October because it's set in October. And there's a rumor that it's set in the same universe around the same time as the Back to the Future film.
Nice.
So anyway, but that's why we did it in October.
Very
even
appropriate.
Yeah, it's very appropriate. It took place I think it said October 24th through 26th, somewhere in there.
Because they even had the date on a newspaper or
they
something.
did, yeah.
Yes. Well, it was directed by Richard Donner, and it is listed on IMDb. They give it several different categories, but I kept seeing teen comedy or teen adventure, and I think that fits it. Like, I think it really does appeal to that age range that's either preteen or teen.
Early teen.
Yeah.
And it also falls into the same category, having now seen it, as Stand By Me. I think sort of a coming of age.
Absolutely. Yes, I totally agree with that. Much of the film was made in Astoria, Oregon, and they hold a big bash there every year. They held a big bash this year to celebrate the 40th anniversary. Here's an overview of the movie taken from a People magazine article. It's actually the same one where we found those Zodiac notes. Quote, "The star-studded 80s classic follows a group of kids living in the Goondocks, a neighborhood in Astoria, Oregon, who try to save their homes from foreclosure by the bank by embarking on an adventure led by Mikey to find the buried treasure of One-Eyed Willie, a 17th century pirate. Along the way, they meet new friends like Sloth, create memories, and form romantic partnerships. All in all, they become better BFFs because Goonies never say die."
They never say die.
Does that fit well?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I watched it. I don't know if I'd ever seen it all the way through. If I did, I
Really?
didn't remember it. It was so
Okay.
long ago.
Yeah.
So let's share a few of our impressions, just a couple of little standout parts from the film. I'll start. I will say there were a lot of young actors in this that went on to become notable stars.
Absolutely.
I was like, okay. I recognize a lot of people in this movie. So that was one of the things that hit me. And of course, Sean Astin was adorable. And even he's so young, but even as he's given his little speech, I'm going, Rudy. I mean,
Yes,
you
I know.
can see
I have
him in his
goosebumps.
other roles.
Nobody alive today gives a motivational speech like Sean Astin. No matter what role he is in, he has a moment where he gives a speech and I'm like, I love you so much. And he's just like, I want him to be my brother. My admiration for him is not romantic. It's completely platonic. I want the best for him. I want to be his friend. I want him to succeed. I just want him to know he's had a little sister all these years going, good for you. I'm
He's
so happy for you.
earnest.
He's
Yes,
so earnest. That's
so
the best
earnest.
word.
Yeah.
And his little inhaler.
Yeah. Well, what's something that strikes you about the movie?
Well, I did say that it was more about the characters, but I did like the plot too. I think it's cool that you have this adventure and this history, and he wants to chase this. I don't even think it's not about the gold for himself, but he's doing it for an altruistic reason. He wants to be able to save his house so that they can all live there and grow up together, because it sounds like they're not going to be together anymore once this house sells.
Right. It's breaking up their group. Yeah. I think your point about the coming of age and the camaraderie and this bond that young people have is such a key part of the movie.
It reminds me, to go back to Stand By Me, the line that the narrator had when he says, "Do you have any other friends as good as when you were 12 years old?"
Right.
That's your best friends. You're 12 years old. You're just figuring things out, and these are your people.
Yeah. And I had the connections to Stand By Me as well. I have it in my notes. I agreed with something you said back when we recorded that episode. You pointed out that Corey Feldman's character in both of these films is basically the same. And I was like, yep, that is absolutely true. And honestly, I saw a connection between Chunk and a character in Stand By Me. Ooh, his name is eluding me.
It was Jerry O'Connell's character, maybe? The little guy?
Absolutely. Yes. I was like, okay. Some similarities. And I don't know if that's just because you have...
One could have influenced the other. Who knows?
One could have influenced the other. Sometimes you just have stereotypes
That's
for
true.
kids,
That's true.
like, oh, it's a kid movie, therefore.
But in Mouth's case, in Corey Feldman's case, I feel like he was the perfect person to play both of those roles because there was this toughness, but you could see the vulnerability. You could see the wounded child beneath when he's in the fountain and he takes back his coin. He's like, this is my wish and I'm taking it back. It's just like these poor babies. You just want to hug them and take care of them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how the Goonies came to be. I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
On YouTube, I found a short clip from an interview that Steven Spielberg gave to a fellow named Quinn from a site called Included. And in this clip, it's very short, he explains what inspired him, Steven, to come up with the idea for Goonies.
So you have always kind of known that you were a little different than everybody else.
Yeah.
How has making friends been for you when you were a kid? And what was that like?
Well, I could make friends in sort of my own, social circle, and my social circle was probably a pretty big social circle because it was a lot of kids who had, let's put it this way. My friends couldn't throw a football. They couldn't catch a baseball.
Like the Goonies.
You got it. That's why I made the Goonies. That's why I wrote the story because I was a member of the Goon Squad.
Sure.
When I was a kid growing up.
So I thought that was interesting that he's the one who came up with the idea for the Goonies, and it goes back to his own childhood. Love that. But then there's more to the story because Chris Columbus is credited as being one of the other writers. If you look them up, the two men are credited as the writers. He kind of fills in the rest of the story of how this script was created. So I'm going to let you hear a brief little blurb from Chris.
The first draft of Goonies, ironically, which I have in my New York apartment, says The Goon Children. For some reason, we called it that, and then it changed to Goonies. But Steven started to talk about this story. I was taking copious notes, and then we decided to start writing it. So I was just 3 doors down. I'd write 3 or 4 pages, take them to Steven's office. He would make some corrections, and I would go back. And that's how the script came to be. And as a result of that, it was sort of my graduate school of filmmaking. I learned a lot about how to structure a film. I became a much better writer, and it sort of paved my way in terms of becoming a director by working with Steven on the Goonies script.
What an education.
I know. I thought that was the coolest thing. Not
Yeah.
only does he fill in the backstory of how this story unfolded, how it came to be a script, but also how it turned into this whole like mentoring experience for him. I thought that is really neat. So of course, Steven Spielberg was one of the producers. He worked on this movie and it was made by his company, Amblin Entertainment. Steven Spielberg was big in this.
He's all over it.
Big in this, yes. So the cast. Now, huge cast. We've already said that. So we're going to move quickly. You jump in at any point because I know you have things you probably want to share. I'm just going to quickly touch on them. Okay. So we've brought up Sean Astin so many times. Obviously, he was Mikey.
Yeah.
And he has gone on to do so many things, including his role in Stranger Things that we've discussed, his role on Broadway as Santa. And now we have talked about that man a lot.
We have Lord of the Rings. We haven't covered Lord of the Rings yet.
That is
Samwise
true.
Gamgee.
That is true. So Ke Huy Quan played Data.
Data.
Yes.
That's what I said. That's one of his recurring quotes. Like, I love how he mispronounces something and then he's correct. He's like, that's what I said.
He's so cute. Well, he made his movie debut in 1984's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which
Short
I know
round.
you know.
Yes.
Yes. He played opposite Harrison Ford before then appearing in Goonies the following year. Now, what I did not know, you may know this backstory, but he actually stepped away from acting
For a long time.
completely in the 2000s. He graduated from film school at USC, and then he did a lot of work behind the scenes. He was an assistant director, he was a stunt coordinator, but he shared in a People article that a lot of that was not his choice, his
Really?
first preference. It was because there was a lack of roles for Asian actors.
Yeah.
And so another big break for him came in 2022 when he was cast in the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I want to see that. I haven't seen that yet, but I hear
haven't
it's
either.
really good. And he won the Oscar.
He absolutely did. He won a SAG Award, a Golden Globe, an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. And since then, it opened the door. He's now gotten more roles. But he was so excited. If you look back at interviews, like
He is so sweet and
he
so
is
excited.
a sweetheart, isn't he? Ah, yeah,
And one of the cool things is, you know who his entertainment lawyer is?
I do.
You're gonna
Go ahead,
tell us?
go ahead and tell him.
Well, it's the actor who played Chunk.
Jeff Cohen.
Jeff Cohen. He left acting shortly after this, I assume, and he became an entertainment lawyer, and he represents him, and they're just like brothers, and I love that. I love that so
it
much.
too. And by the way, he is so fit.
He is,
Yeah, so
Do you
fit.
know? I'm sorry that I don't have this. I may look it up and share it, maybe in our Facebook group. But there was an interview that's made the rounds when he was younger, right around the time he had played Chunk, where this interviewer was talking to him about his physical appearance and kind of mocking him a little bit, but making light
Like
of
it was
it.
supposed to be funny,
Like
but it was not funny.
Exactly. And the way that he handled it, the way that Jeff handled it was so mature. And I think he was actually wearing like a little seagull paper hat or something. He was already looking a little silly, but he just, people were commenting like that was uncalled for.
Right.
And he handled it.
Inappropriate and rude.
Inappropriate and rude, although I don't think that was the intention of the interviewer, but he
right.
handled it very well. So I'll see if I can find that and post it in our Facebook, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to locate it.
Yeah.
It just made me think of that, like that poor guy.
And it's interesting because in one interview, I've watched several clips and different pieces of things in different interviews. And in one, Jeff Cohen made the comment that roles kind of dried up for him once he no longer looked like the cute, kind of heavy set young boy.
Right.
And so, but he seemed very happy with his career path. So Josh Brolin, I mean, that man is very active.
Yes, he is.
In fact, there's a movie that's out right now, a horror movie called Weapons, and he's one of the stars of that right now. So he's done many, many things. I did not take the time to write them all down.
That's fine.
But very active. Corey Feldman. Of course, we all know Corey Feldman was already a successful child actor when he played the role of Mouth in Goonies. And then after this, he went right into several more successful movies. We've already talked about Stand By Me, Lost Boys, it goes on and on.
And The Burbs. I loved him in The Burbs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In more recent years, Corey seems to have dedicated a lot of his efforts more towards his music career than acting.
Okay.
But that is something that he seems to be passionate about. Carrie Green played Andy. And she went on not long after this movie. She was in the popular movie Lucas, came out in 1986.
Yes.
Yeah, but after that, she kind of moved away from acting. Yeah. She sometimes does some things behind the scenes, or she'll go to some fan conventions.
Panels.
But she focuses on her family and doesn't seem to be really active in acting anymore.
It's sort of like what we talked about in the X-Files episode. You know what? She's going to be known as Andy of the Goonies from the Goonies for her whole career. And hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it. Yep, absolutely. Martha Plimpton played Andy's friend Steph. Goonies was actually her very first film role.
Really? She was so good in that.
She was good. And since then, she has gone on to have a very successful acting career with most of her, I guess, the roles that we know her best for actually have occurred in television.
Raising Hope. She was amazing in Raising Hope.
Yes, she was so good. But she was also in Parenthood, The Good Wife, so many different things. And I didn't know this, but she has also been successful acting in Broadway shows.
Good for her.
Yeah, I think she's very talented.
I do too. I like her.
She's very dry. Like, she's just got a manner that makes her so distinctive.
Yes.
Yes. So a man named John Matusak played Sloth. And what I did not know about him was that he was actually a former NFL football player.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
6'8" tall. They referred to him as a lovable giant. And he was the first overall pick in the 1973 NFL draft. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs and Washington Commanders before finishing off his career with the Oakland Raiders, with whom he won 2 Super Bowls.
Good job, buddy.
What? So he does all that, and then he's like, no, I think I'll be an actor.
I'll go be an actor.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do that.
So in terms of this movie, this poor fella had to spend a lot of time in the makeup chair.
Yeah.
The prosthetics were used to transform him into Sloth. I think it was the Fratelli brothers, the actors who played the Fratelli brothers, who remembered how he took it well, but he was a little peeved that he would watch them eating all this wonderful food, and he has a straw. He's having to, drink his food that day. Yeah. But anyway, John had performed in a few movies prior to Goonies, and then he was in a movie called One Crazy Summer that came out in 1986, but tragically, he died in 1989 of an accidental overdose of prescription drugs when he was only 38.
That's sad.
Very young.
I knew he had died early. I didn't know what it was from.
Yeah. So Joe Pantoliano.
Did you recognize that fella?
Absolutely.
The Fugitive. Yep.
He played Francis Fratelli, and we all know him. I mean, talk about a character actor who has made the rounds.
He has.
Yeah, he absolutely has. He's been very, very successful. And I even have it in my notes. We talked about him in The Fugitive.
Yes, we did.
Yes. And actually, that came out about 8 years after this. Think about that. No, wait.
93 was A Fugitive, and this was 80-something.
So that's right. It was 8 years. Isn't it funny that to me...
They're close together.
Well, no, actually, I was going to say I thought he looked younger in The Fugitive, but maybe...
Well, he had well, did he have hair?
He had a
both?
toupee.
Yeah. I like it
Yes.
when he took off. Oh my gosh. So, okay, this will mean nothing to anyone, but a scene from the Goonies inspired a scene that we just did Clue at our theater over the summer. And one of the characters is wearing a wig. And there's a moment where I said, no, I think you need to take off the wig and like fan yourself with it. And it's from the scene where the bats attack them and he takes his wig off and he's like trying to get the bats with his wig.
Inspired by the Goonies.
It was. It totally was.
And it was cute.
And it got a laugh. When the audience saw it, they got a
funny.
laugh.
So back to Joe. He has also had many, many other notable roles in shows like The Matrix, The Sopranos. He is still acting today. He is out there. So Robert Davi played Jake Fratelli.
The opera singer.
Yes. Yes, and as the People magazine article phrased it, quote, Robert Davi has made a career playing scary dudes.
Yes, he has. Yes.
So after Goonies, he has landed roles in movies like Die Hard, License to Kill, Predator 2. Yeah. Now, I thought it was interesting.
About Mama Fratelli?
Well, actually, I'm still thinking about these brothers.
Okay.
They are so bickering and
yeah,
they're so argumentative,
Yeah.
I guess is the word I'm trying to find in the movie. But what I'm coming to understand is that they appeared to be that way in real life.
Oh, they didn't like each other in
I
real
don't
life?
think it's a gimmick. because I've watched them in so many interviews
Oh,
now.
they do fight, don't they?
I think it's real. I thought, is this playfulness? Do they really like each other, but they're just being playful? I don't think so.
It could be a little bit of both. It could be this is our shtick, and also we maybe don't like each other.
It could be both. I found an interview that was done for the 40th where they talked to both men, and this is just one little piece I pulled from it, but it seemed to speak to this point. So first, we had a quote from Joe saying, "We were always arguing. We were always fighting with each other off camera. Donner and Spielberg just left it in the movie. He nailed my dressing room doors shut once while I was in there."
Oh, no.
And then Robert Davi comes back with, "Well, he was upset because I had a parking space next to Steven Spielberg's at Warner Brothers. So he took my name off my space, and that then provoked me to nail his dressing room doors shut."
So it's like what did you do that made him do this? Like, well,
Well, as I said, I've seen several interviews that the cast have done in conjunction with this 40th anniversary. And actually, I found some that were from years past as well. But in one particular one that was at a fan convention, Carrie Green is sitting between the two of them,
I
and
think
they
I saw
are
this
going
one.
back and forth
I
at
think I
each
saw
other.
this one.
And like they would just, like, one would start to talk, the other one would jump in, and he'd be like, "See, he can't shut his mouth. He
Yes.
has to jump in." And she goes, "I think I chose the wrong seat."
I saw that, yes.
Yes. So I think it's real. I think their rivalry is real. But now let's talk about Mama Fratelli, played by Anne Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in the very popular film
Throw Mama from the Train.
Yep, came out in 1987. Something I did not know.
Her throat cancer.
Yeah.
That's what gave her that raspy, gravelly voice. And that's
Yeah.
actually when she started getting these parts, is the effect that the throat cancer had on her. I remember that.
I saw it listed as esophageal cancer, which I'm the same thing. But they said that part of her tongue and jaw had to be removed in 1984 as part of her battle with that disease. And you're absolutely right. Here she gets, I think The Goonies was her first really big role. And then she moves into a couple of others there. But sadly, the cancer returned in
it's so sad.
1988, and she passed away that year. She was only 59.
Goodness. What a distinctive character voice, though.
Yeah. Another fun fact was in that same interview that I was just talking about, the two fellas who played the Fratelli brothers, they said that they instructed Anne Ramsey. They were like, "Go ahead and hit them. Make it real." And so they said she would just whop them.
She should. She's probably irritated with them if they keep fighting.
She didn't pull back.
That's another genius thing about this movie. These are bad guys. They are trying to kill these children.
True.
And yet you've made them these bumbling, fighting
Keystone Cops.
kind of. They're villains, but they're kind of likable villains. But yet the kids are still in real danger, but you're also...
Home Alone. It's kind of a Home Alone situation. Yeah. Well, we've made it through all of the cast members that I was intending to speak about. Do you have anyone you want to bring out, or did I cover them well enough for you?
I think you covered them all.
I did it. Well, then let's take a break.
Okay.
And we'll come back and talk about some more.
Okay. We love including listener voices in our episodes, and we're always looking for more. So tell us, where do you sip your scandal water? Do you catch up on the tea while folding your laundry, sitting at your work desk, working out at the gym? Let us know by sending in your shout out, telling us your first name, your hometown, and where you are or what you're doing when you're listening to Scandal Water. And you just might hear a voice you recognize starting one of our upcoming episodes. Email your audio clip to scandalwaterpodcast@gmail.com. The voice memo app on your phone will work just fine. Cheers!
And we are back. So I've referenced a few different times. We were just talking about it. In fact, you and I both saw that one interview, and we've seen several. One that I had never seen before was something that came during the pandemic. There was a Zoom reunion that Josh Gad organized as a fundraiser where he was able to bring not only the actors together, but also the director, producer, and Cyndi Lauper.
Oh,
now,
because of the theme song.
Right. I was going to say,
Good enough.
Well,
Yeah.
I had not put that together.
Oh, you didn't know that
as I
herself?
watched, as I watched the movie, I was like, hey, that's Cyndi Lauper. But I never thought about this being, a big deal. She wrote and performed the Goonies theme song. It was called The Goonies Are Good Enough. It was number 10 on the Hot 100.
It's a good song.
Yeah, and it obviously came up prominently in the movie. In that little Zoom reunion that they did, they got Cyndi to pop in. She spoke just very briefly, but I'm going to let you hear her comment.
For me, the Goonies was kind of our gang kind of thing. We are good enough. It was one of those incredible underdog movies that you always rooted for the underdog, and it was funny.
It was an underdog movie.
I love how she talks. Cute little side note. I think Cyndi, no, don't hold me to this, but I think she might be like kind of taking this last tour before she keeps
Retires,
things more
maybe?
local. Right. I think
okay.
she's not doing the touring type of thing anymore. And I just saw a Facebook post where Martha Plimpton went to went to a local concert with some other girlfriends of hers. And I thought, well, isn't that cute?
That's another thing I love. It's when they love each other and they continue to support each other because they went through this enormous film. I mean, this film was huge when it came out, and it's still a touchstone. I will wear this shirt and I'll be out in public and other people will like point to me and like, Goonies never say die. And it's like this, it's a code. You just, it means something and you'll just say it back. Like, yeah, Goonies never say, it's amazing.
I love it. So in that same Zoom interview, I thought this was super cute. So I have to share it with you.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg made an appearance too, and they asked him about his fondest memory from the movie shoot.
Okay.
Do you know what's coming?
Would it be the pirate ship?
It's kind of a trick question, I guess, in a way, because he ends up sharing a story that doesn't actually happen on the movie shoot.
The octopus?
Let's
Okay.
I'm going to play this here.
Okay.
Any memory or memories that stand out from visiting the set and from being around these guys?
My best memory, I have to say, didn't happen during the shooting of the movie. It happened after the movie was over. Everyone we cast was high energy, and after a while, it kind of started working on Dick, sort of tear him apart a piece at a time. And so by the end of the movie, in the last 2 weeks, Richard just kept saying, oh my God, I got 2 weeks to go, and I can't wait to finish, and I'm going to go to my house in Hawaii, and I'm going to get away from all this noise, and it's extraordinary, and I love him to pieces, but I can't stand it anymore. So right after we wrapped the film, I took the whole cast and put him on American Airlines and sent him to Donner's house in Hawaii. So before Dick ever landed, they all showed up in his living room, and then they can tell you the story from there when Dick opened the door and saw all the Goonies in his living room screaming and waving.
We all opened up our suitcases and we threw our clothes everywhere, and we're all lounging either outside in his hammock or in his bed. I think somebody ended up in his bed.
He dropped to his knees. He turned white as a sheet. Thought we'd given him a coronary.
Talk about a Fratelli brother move. That is terrible and also really funny.
It's so funny, but who has the money to fly a whole
Steven
cast out
Spielberg.
to Hawaii to play a joke?
Only Steven Spielberg.
But what an amazing prank.
That was
is
pretty funny.
So good. I thought that was so funny. At a more recent cast reunion, the Awesome Con that was held in April, they had Sean Astin, Corey Feldman, Martha Plimpton, Carrie Green, Robert Davi, and Joe Pantoliano all there. That's the one that you and I saw the little
where she
clip
sat in
from.
the wrong seat.
Yep, absolutely. And here are a couple more things that I pulled from that. And if you have anything you want to bring out, you jump in here too. But one of the things that stood out to me was Sean Astin made a point to address that popular rumor about the movie.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The fact.
Well, that there's supposed to be one or a follow-up, and I actually saw an article recently that says they're working on a script.
Yes.
And some people are saying, don't do this, and other people are excited about it. So there's no details other than an actual script is being written, and the person who says he's writing it, he says, I am a #1 fan. I'm not going to mess this up.
Ooh, yeah. I was actually thinking of a different thing,
Oh,
a different rumor, but let's go ahead and talk about that. Yes, I dug into that a little bit because I thought that was really fascinating. And over the past 40 years, they have talked about a sequel many times, countless times, and people have even developed proposals or scripts that have been brought forward. But what they revealed in different interviews was that every time it basically fell through because it didn't get Steven's approval. Steven Spielberg basically kind of had the final say as to whether or not it was going to go forward.
Yeah.
Again, at these conventions, cast members, different ones, have expressed interest in being part of a sequel if it comes up. And what I saw was that it has been confirmed by Warner Brothers, although I can't find the details, but it sounds like it is going to happen. Corey Feldman said, "We love that Steven Spielberg is engaged and back in the Goonies mindset, so that's exciting for all of us. And whatever happens, we hope that it's worth it. We hope that everybody has a great adventure. Keep the adventure alive." And Martha jumped in and said, "I think fans are going to see Goonies too, whether we're in it or not. I think that's pretty obvious. At least I hope they will." And Sean Astin was the one who said, straight up, Steven Spielberg was the, quote, sole reason a sequel hasn't been made now because it hasn't been right. He went on to add, the fact that he is endorsing this next thing is why we know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's why it has every chance to be spectacular.
I agree. I mean, it's so exciting to me.
Yeah. What I was thinking of was there's apparently, and you being the fan, you'll know more about this than I will, but apparently there's always been this rumor that in order to make sure they got these really awesome, authentic reactions from the kids, they had not allowed the child actors to see One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship.
Correct. Yeah.
Until it happened as they were filming. And Sean said, he's the one who said, I want to address that rumor. He said, quote, "I was sort of offended that they had that idea, that they wouldn't let the kids see the pirate ship so that they could capture their real reaction." Like, what? We don't know how to be real?
Right.
We
don't
did
know how to
real
act.
reactions all the time. So he was saying he'd already seen it and that was just great acting. Martha Plimpton, however, did say, I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
My performance was honest.
Yeah.
So
it may have been only him that saw it because I think that most of them had not.
And then Corey Feldman, on a different note, he shared that what he thought was the coolest thing about making the movie was the pool because it was heated. And for whatever reason, that really seemed to be exciting to
he was a
him.
kid. It was really
Yes,
exciting.
yes.
And didn't they tell them they could go down the slide like once or something like that? They allowed them to go down the slide one time, and that was amazing to them.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was amazing, but they were also really frustrated. They said, we're kids. We're looking at this massive play set full of water, this huge water slide, and we're told we
can't
can
do it.
only go down it
Yeah.
the one time during filming.
Yeah.
So they were like, what? Yeah. So how the movie was received. I thought this was interesting too. Both Martha and Chris Columbus in different interviews spoke about what made the difference for Goonies in terms of its success. When it first came out, it was only moderately successful.
Yeah.
They feel like it would have just kind of faded away.
Is it another one of those home video things?
Absolutely. Yep. They said it was the video rentals and cable. Those are the things that made it soar in popularity because they said kids would watch it
over
again
and over.
And again.
I did.
And
I
again.
watched it over and over.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened with Princess Bride. It was moderately received when it came out, and then the VHS video rentals revitalized this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Armchair psychologist.
Well, actually, I think that brings us to the armchair.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I thought I would ask the question, what's the secret of the film's popularity? But rather than just let you come into that cold, I'm going to share with you a couple of different ideas or speculations made by some of the people involved with it. And then I'm going to let you chime in. Okay. So I'm paraphrasing this, but in a GQ interview, Chris Columbus said he thinks that the audience the film resonated with the most are the young people who were watching between the ages of 9 to 14. And his thought is that probably what they loved so much about the film was that it was kind of a form of wish fulfillment for them. He said at that age, you're likely wanting an adventure of your own. You want to be with friends your own age. You want to feel like you have some agency. And he said that's exactly what happened in the film. So that's kind of
okay.
his
So far,
theory.
I 100% agree with that. That is exactly the age I would have been. I think when I saw it, may not when it came out, but when I saw it, I was on the low end of that, and all of that stuff would have been true in my life at that time.
Okay. Corey Feldman felt like the magic of the film came from, quote, the moral of the story. He said, it's a bunch of kids trying to save their families, trying to save their friendships, and trying to keep their community strong. So he felt like that was a big thing.
Agree, yeah.
Okay. Carrie Green said it was the fact that the actors really were like a family.
Yeah.
A big dysfunctional,
Yeah.
but loving family. You agree with that?
I do, yes.
Okay. And Ki-Hui Kwan kind of echoed what she said, but said it in slightly different ways. He said, we were like a big family. So as with any other family, there was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of love. There was a lot of making fun of. Laughter. We had all of that.
I think it all came through. Yeah. I have this, I don't know, I have no scientific expertise to back this up, but I feel like when there is all of this positive emotion and happiness and joy, it comes through. It doesn't matter what you're doing on screen. When the people get along, when the people love each other, there's just this extra level of magic that comes out because you're feeling it through. You're just resonating with the experience. I think everything they said is true. It was beautiful wish fulfillment for a young kid. You have to remember the time period. There was no cell phones. I don't want to sound like and back in my day, but there wasn't.
Right.
We didn't have the cell phones. We didn't have internet. We didn't have anything. We just would have our little friends in the neighborhood where you would go out and you would have your adventures. I mean, mine were nothing like that, but if I biked over to my friend's house in elementary school, I would feel like I was going somewhere to have this big adventure. And it's just, there's no other time in your life that is as transformative and developmental as this age group. And to see these kids having this big kid adventure, you just feel like you want to take that on and you want to go on this adventure with them, and it reflects in your own life and your own wishes. And sometimes it makes you go, I want to do this kind of stuff. I want to be an adventurer. I want to have these kind of friendships.
Yeah.
It's just so comprehensive. It's hard to put into words how much the film means to me because it's been a part of my life. I've been a part of their family, even though they have no idea who I am, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously it didn't resonate with me the way that it has with you. So you've got this personal connection that I don't have, but just listening to you talk, I feel like everything that you're saying makes sense. But I would add that I do think there is something I know this sounds so simplistic, but just the very fact that you are watching a movie on repeat, just like, because we all have that, whether it's the Goonies or something else, we can all think of the movie that we saw 100 million times. And when you do that with a film, those people become real to you.
They do.
They are your comfort.
Yes.
They are your entertainment. You are invested in them. And so if that's a movie that you were doing that with, there is something special about that. And they are part of your childhood. Think of how many hours you spent with them.
So many hours. And it's also super quotable. We haven't even talked about all of the quotes from it. Is there any quote that stood out from you? Like if I think the Goonies, the first thing I think of is Sloth's, "Hey, you guys."
That comes up a lot. This is our time.
This is our time.
The Goonies never say die. Yep. I do think there also is that little element of us against them. When you're a kid, it's always like you feel like you're being told everything to do by adults.
Yeah.
And so having the agency, having the freedom and in some ways even being able to like give it back to the older people, like there's something about that feels satisfying because, Mikey's speech was up there, it's their time.
Yeah, this is down here, this is our time.
It was very us against them,
yes.
And
it was Mikey's kind heart that saved them because he left some of the gold. He wasn't greedy. He was just taking what he needed in order to save his family, and he said, "No, leave that's for Willie. Leave that behind." And later when the Fratellis take it, that's what activates the booby trap. We haven't even talked about the plot or any of the stuff that happened. It's so well plotted. It's such a cool, fun adventure movie. And every turn is Chunk ending up with the Fratellis And the speech that he gives where he's got his hand in the blender and he just gives this like, tell us everything from the beginning. Yeah, from the beginning.
That was
He's
funny.
like, okay, I'm going to tell you everything. And he goes through this whole monologue that's adorable. And the Fratellis are like, I like this kid. You know, he ends up away from all of them for most of the film. That's where he meets Sloth and the misfits and loving each other. It's just, it's the whole package. Now I got to watch it again.
I was going to say, are you
satisfied?
Yes, I guess. Are you satisfied that you finally got to do this celebration of the Goonies?
I think so. I think it's going to end up on my list of another cuppa. Like, can we talk more? Can we talk longer? Can we talk about this part of it? And how about this? So I don't know. Maybe we'll do a mini-sode once where we watch the film together and I'll do my commentary. I just love it. Just love it.
Well, then who do you want to cheers?
Sean Astin. Anytime it comes up, I have to cheer Sean Astin. I mean, God bless all of y'all that made this, and thank you for making my childhood fantastic. But without Mikey, it just wouldn't have had the heart. He is the heart behind it.
Yeah.
Nobody does it like Sean.
Well, then cheers to Sean.
Cheers.
If you love what we do, please rate and review our show or become a supporter through Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon. Whether a single gift or recurring monthly donation, your support is what allows us to keep the tea brewing.
Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or the Scandal Water Podcast YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Show notes are available at our website, scandalwaterpodcast.com, where you can also access the merch store and more.
This episode was executive produced by Candy Thomas, that's me, and Ashley Raymer Brown,
that's me.
It was researched and written by Candy Thomas and edited by Ashley Raymer Brown.
A special thank you to Josh Martin, who wrote, composed, and performed the Scandal Water theme and other music. Matt C. Adams, who created the artwork, and Joshua Reeve, who designed our website and provides ongoing technical support.
As a reminder, this podcast is purely for entertainment purposes. The thoughts and opinions of the host during each episode of Scandal Water are their own and do not reflect the opinions of any future guests, advertisers, or clearly professional psychologists. Thanks for listening.